If you had a framework for marketing, would it make it easier for you to create video content? If you said yes, this episode is for you. Also, stay until the end for an opportunity to get your video content audited. And if you don't have videos yet, your content audited so you can get a clear path of where you should start creating videos if you choose to do so. In this episode of Connect the Dots and my weekly YouTube video, I'm sharing with you what my cold to sold marketing framework is, why it's important, and how video fits into the customer journey. Also, if you stay until the end, you'll find out how you can get access to an actual example of using video in my cold to sold framework. So let's go ahead and jump in. So first, just to clarify, what is a framework? A marketing framework details how you'll enact your marketing plan and deliver marketing content to your audience in ways that will help you achieve your marketing goals. It's often a visual representation of what you're looking to accomplish. So that's why I use my customer journey, because I like to map everything out to the different steps and make sure that I've got a flow that makes sense based on the customer, not me, right? They don't care about what my internal processes are. I want to make sure I'm delivering content that matches where they are in their journey to buy. So it's going from cold to sold. And here, what's most important is what's in between, right? So we know that we all start off with cold prospects, people who don't know us. And the ultimate goal, if you own your own business, is to get people to buy from you, right? We're not all in this for hobbies. We have bills to pay. So that's the ultimate goal. So why is a framework important? It's the difference between a plan and just kind of throwing spaghetti at the wall, right? So you just have to know what you're doing when you're doing it, and having a plan that you can follow keeps you focused. And it also helps you with the tactics, identify, what needs to happen, and then just kind of a guide to help you go through the flow of everything, because we know that things aren't going to work exactly as we planned out. So benefits of having a framework, I kind of mentioned a few of these just a second ago, but it's the best way to ensure that you and others on your team, if you have a team, if it's just you, then it's even more important to have a framework, because we can very easily get the shiny object syndrome, right? Or a squirrel, where we're doing this and then we get distracted with this and then this. When you have a guide or a framework in place, you're making sure that you're staying on task, staying focused, and making sure that you're checking the boxes in your particular plan. So, if you do have a team, then you want to make sure who's doing what. So there's some accountability around making sure that things stay on task when they're happening, to make sure deadlines are met, and then how it actually happens. So do they need tools? Do they need resources? Do they need training? What is it that they need? So it allows you to also look at your business and your marketing at 1,000-foot view, so that you can create templates and guides and tools wherever needed. You can also develop a comprehensive measurement plan so you can match what your results are back to your business and marketing goals. It also helps you make sure that there's no gaps in your customer journey. So if you're going straight from, people who are just now becoming familiar with your name, brand awareness, top of funnel, which is where most people keep their efforts, then it's going to be really hard to get people who don't know you to buy from you, right? Unless you're like a Nike or an Apple or somebody like that, and everybody knows them. Significantly reduces your time in repetitive tasks. So when you do that and you plan it out, then you can identify easily a lot of times, like, oh, I don't need to do that, or hey, I can move this over here, or oh my gosh, I didn't even think about this. There could be a gap that you need to close. And it might really be where a lot of your prospecting drops off, right? You may not even know it. You may think, okay, I'm doing all of this at the beginning and I'm capturing people's attention, but I'm not converting them to that next step. When you do that, you can identify if there's a gap and how you can go about filling that gap. Okay, so we're going to look at my customer journey and first I'm going to explain the different steps, and then I'm going to walk through an actual example, okay, just to, again, visualize the framework. So the define, as we all know, is to figure out who your ICA is, right? And then this is why it's important to understand what your business goals are and your marketing goals, because if you're going to, I think I mentioned yesterday or Monday, that if you're going to create videos, you need to understand why you're creating them, where they fall in the customer journey. And then that helps also with identifying what your CTAs are, your calls to action. So that's important to identify what those are. So if we're going to start cold, we need to start creating brand awareness. We need to start attracting more of our ideal customers so that we can deliver a video to them with a topic that they're interested in and a call to action that they can take to go to that next step. And keep in mind, what I'm talking about today is very linear. So it's just one path. And we all know that that is not the case, right? We know it's like this massive framework of different types of content. Video is just one piece, but I'm showing an example of how you could use video throughout the process. So you could do a video in the no phase that talks about a frequently asked question that your ideal customer may have, right? So you can identify what that is. You have somebody asking you constantly, how do I start creating my own website? Okay, if that's something that somebody's asking you all the time, now you can create a video that addresses that, right? And you can talk about stories too of people who have asked that and how you've helped resolve that particular question. As you can see, this is only part of the marketing framework. I did review it in much more detail during my 5-day challenge. However, it was really long and detailed and too much actually for a weekly video. So although the 5-day challenge videos are no longer available, I am going to review this in detail at an online speaking event that I'm participating in called the Small Business Growth Summit, which happens to be on June 17th and 18th, 2022. If you want to see this in greater details, then you can register for this free event via the link below this video if you're watching it on YouTube. If you're listening to this on Connect the Dots, you can go to connectthedotspodcast.com, and this is episode 131. I will include the link to the Small Business Growth Summit that you can register for in the show notes. I'm also adding a second video to my YouTube channel each week, so if you aren't already subscribed, that link will also be in the show notes for the Connect the Dots listeners. If you're watching this on YouTube, just click that subscribe button. It's super easy. As an FYI, last week, my video topic, the second video posted last week, was 7 reasons your small business should be using video. This week, the second video is going to be how to start video marketing, a guide for small businesses. So if those sound like topics you are interested in and you aren't already a subscriber on my YouTube channel, I will include that link in the show notes for you Connect the Dots listeners. All right, that's it for this week. Thank you so much for joining me, investing your time in this channel and in this podcast. I appreciate you. Until next time, make today great.